My 7-year-old grandson called late at night crying, "I'm hungry." He locked me in. Mom won't wake up. It was well past midnight when the phone rang. The sound cut through the quiet like something sharp. The grandmother woke suddenly, her heart already beating too fast before she even reached for the phone. No one ever called her this late. For a brief second, she thought she might be dreaming. But the ringing continued, steady and urgent. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest uploads. She picked up the phone with shaky hands and brought it to her ear. "Hello," she whispered, careful not to speak too loudly in the dark room. At first, there was only breathing on the other end. Soft, uneven breaths. Then a small voice broke through. "Grandma." The voice was thin and trembling. She recognized it immediately. "Yes, sweetheart. I'm here," she said, sitting up in bed. "What's wrong?" There was a pause. Then the sound of quiet crying. Not loud crying, not the kind children do when they scrape a knee or get upset over a toy. This was different. This was scared crying, the kind a child tries to hide. "I'm hungry," the boy whispered. "And I'm scared." Her chest tightened. "Hungry. It's very late. Why are you awake?" Another pause. His breathing grew faster. "He locked me in," he said. Her body went cold. "Who locked you in?" she asked, keeping her voice calm even as fear crept into her bones. "The door," he whispered. "I can't open it." She swung her legs out of bed and stood up. "Listen to me," she said gently. "Are you alone in the room right now?" "Yes," he said. "It's dark. Is the door closed or blocked?" "I think it's locked. I tried the handle. It won't move." Her free hand pressed against her chest as if to steady her heart. She walked toward the light switch and turned it on, as if brightness in her own room might somehow reach him through the phone. "Okay," she said slowly. "I need you to keep talking to me. Can you tell me where you are? Are you in your bedroom?" "I don't know," he whispered. "It's not my bed. It's a small room." A small room. Her mind raced. The house had a storage room, a laundry space, a spare room that no one used much. None of them were meant for a child to be in, especially not alone. "Did you go there by yourself?" she asked. "No," he said quickly. "I didn't. I was in the living room. Then he told me to go in here." Her stomach dropped. "Who told you?" There was silence again. She could hear him sniffle, like he was trying not to cry too loudly. "Please don't be mad," he said. "I'm not mad," she replied instantly. "I promise. I just need to understand so I can help you." "He got angry," the boy whispered. "I was asking for food." Her hand tightened around the phone. "What time did you eat last?" "I don't remember," he said. It was light outside. Her eyes burned. That meant it had been many hours. "Sweetheart," she said softly, "where is your mom right now?" "She's on the couch," he said. "I tried to wake her up." "What happened when you tried?" "She didn't move," he said. His voice shook harder now. "I called her name. I shook her arm. She won't wake up." The grandmother felt a wave of panic wash over her. She leaned against the wall, breathing slowly so she wouldn't scare him. "Is she breathing?" she asked carefully. "I think so," he said. "She's snoring a little." That was something. Not enough, but something. "Okay," she said. "You did the right thing calling me. I'm proud of you." His crying grew quieter, like her words had given him a small bit of comfort. "I was scared to call," he said. "They said not to bother you." Her jaw clenched. "You can always call me," she said firmly. "Any time. Do you hear me?" "Yes," he whispered. "Good. Now listen very carefully. I need you to stay on the phone with me." "I can't talk loud," he said. "They might hear." "Who might hear?" she asked. "The TV is loud," he said. "And he's in the other room." Her fear sharpened. Is he asleep? I don't know, the boy said. He was yelling before. She closed her eyes for a moment, picturing the house, the layout, the distance from her own home. It felt too far. Everything felt too slow. Okay, she said, steadying herself. I want you to look around the room you're in. Can you see anything? It's very dark, he said. There's boxes. Boxes. Storage room. Can you find a light switch? She asked. I tried, he said. I can't reach. How high is it? Up, he said. I jumped. Her heart ached at the image of him jumping alone in the dark, scared and hungry. That's okay, she said. You did your best. She walked into her kitchen, grabbing her keys with one hand while holding the phone with the other. I'm going to help you, she said. I promise. Are you coming? He asked, hope slipping into his voice. I'm trying, she said truthfully. But I need to make sure you're safe right now. I'm cold, he said. Do you have your shoes on? No. Your jacket? No. She swallowed hard. Are you sitting or standing? I'm sitting on the floor, he said. My legs hurt. Okay, she said. Can you hug your knees? That will help keep you warm. She heard fabric rustle as he moved. Like this? He asked. Yes. Just like that. She took a deep breath and made a decision. She couldn't drive there fast enough to matter if something was truly wrong. She needed help. Sweetheart, she said gently, I'm going to stay with you on the phone. But I may need to call someone else to help us too. Will they be mad? He asked. No, she said firmly. They will help. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he whispered, okay. She put the phone on speaker and quickly dialed emergency services on another phone. Her hands shook, but her voice stayed clear as she explained what her grandson had told her. The locked room. The hunger. The mother who wouldn't wake up. The fear in his voice. When she returned her full attention to the phone, she spoke softly again. I'm still here, she said. I didn't hang up, he replied quickly. Good, she said. You're doing so well. Grandma. Yes. Am I in trouble? Tears filled her eyes. No, she said. You are not in trouble. You did exactly what you should have done. He let out a small, shaky breath. I'm tired, he said. I know, she replied. Help is on the way. I need you to stay awake just a little longer. Okay, he whispered. She stayed with him, counting his breaths with him, asking him simple questions to keep him talking. What his favorite cartoon was. What color his shoes were. Anything to keep him focused and calm. Every second felt heavy. Every sound on the line mattered. When she finally heard voices in the background on his end, adult voices, firm but calm, her knees nearly gave out with relief. They're here, he whispered. I know, she said softly. You're safe now. The phone call ended soon after, but the fear it carried stayed with her long into the night. The grandmother stayed very still as she listened to the small sounds coming through the phone. She could hear the boy's breathing, slow but shaky, like he was trying hard to be brave. Every part of her wanted to cry, to shout, to rush out the door without thinking. But she knew she could not do that. If she lost control, he would feel it. And right now, he needed calm more than anything else. She spoke softly, keeping her voice low and steady. I need you to help me understand a few things, she said. You're not in trouble. I just want to help you, okay? Okay, the boy whispered. You're doing very good, she added. Better than most grown-ups would do. There was a small pause. She imagined him sitting on the floor, hugging his knees, the phone pressed close to his ear. Alone in the dark. Hungry. Scared. Her heart twisted, but she did not let her voice change. You said someone locked you in the room earlier, she said carefully. Can you tell me when that happened? I don't know the time, he said. It was dark outside already. So after the sun went down? Yes. Were you inside the house all day? Yes, he replied. I didn't go out. Did you eat anything today? He hesitated. I had cereal, he said. In the morning. That's all. Yes. She closed her eyes. Morning felt like a lifetime ago. Did you ask for food later? Yes, he said quietly. What happened when you asked? He got mad, the boy whispered. Her fingers tightened around the phone. Who got mad? My mom's boyfriend, he said. The words landed heavily. She took a slow breath. Okay, she said. What did he say? He told me to stop asking, the boy replied. He said food costs money. Her chest burned with anger, but she swallowed it down. And then? She asked. He told me to go to the other room, the boy said. I thought I was in trouble. Did he walk you there? Yes. Did he push you? No, the boy said quickly. He just closed the door. Did you hear the lock? Yes, he whispered. It clicked. That sound echoed in her mind. A door locking behind a child. What did you do after the door closed? She asked. I cried, he said. I knocked. I said I was hungry. He didn't answer. How long were you in there before you called me? I don't know, he said. It felt long. Did anyone come to check on you? No. Her throat tightened. What about your mom? Did she come into the room at any time? No, he said. She stayed on the couch. She was already on the couch when this happened? Yes. What was she doing? She was sleeping, he replied. She sleeps a lot. The grandmother felt a cold weight settle in her stomach. Did you try to wake her before you were locked in the room? Yes, he said. I shook her arm. She didn't wake up. Did she say anything at all? No. Did she open her eyes? No. Her thoughts raced. Something was very wrong. She kept her voice gentle. When was the last time you remember your mom talking to you today? The boy thought for a moment. I don't remember, he said. She was tired. Tired all day? Yes. Did she eat? I didn't see her eat, he said. The house being dark and quiet suddenly made sense in a terrible way. Is the TV on right now? She asked. Yes, he said. It's loud. Do you hear anyone else moving around the house? No. Not even footsteps. No. She imagined the house. Lights off. A child locked in a room. A woman lying unmoving on a couch. A man somewhere else, choosing silence over care. Can you tell me what the room smells like? She asked gently. It smells dusty, the boy said. Like old boxes. Is there anything sharp or broken near you? No. Good, she said. I'm glad you're safe right now. I'm scared, he whispered. I know, she replied. Anyone would be. She leaned against the kitchen counter, steadying herself. Every answer added another piece to a picture she did not want to see but could not ignore. You said the house is dark, she continued. Are any lights on at all? No, he said. Just the TV light. Is it always this dark at night? No, he replied. Mom usually turns lights on. That answer made her stomach drop further. Did you hear any loud noises earlier? Like yelling, he asked. Yes, she said. Yes, he said softly. They were yelling. Who was yelling? He was, the boy said. And then he stopped. And after that, everything got quiet. Too quiet. She felt her pulse in her ears. Sweetheart, she said carefully, I need to ask something important. Is your mom warm or cold when you touched her? I don't know, he said. She felt normal. Did she move at all? No. Did she wake up when the TV was loud? No. The grandmother closed her eyes. She knew now that this was more than a child being frightened. This was serious. Dangerous. You did the right thing calling me, she said again. I'm so glad you did. I didn't know who else to call, he said. I was scared. You were very brave, she replied. I'm proud of you. He was quiet for a moment. Then he whispered, Is my mom okay? Her heart broke. She chose her words with care. I don't know yet, she said honestly. But we are going to make sure she gets help. Is she sick? He asked. She might be, the grandmother said. That's why we need grown-ups to check on her. Will they help her? Yes, she said. That's their job. He sniffled. I'm hungry. I know, she said softly. I wish I could hand you food right now. My stomach hurts, he said. I know it does, she replied. Try to take slow breaths with me. She breathed slowly into the phone, counting out loud, guiding him until his breathing matched hers. Grandma. Yes. Is it bad that he locked me in? She paused for half a second. Yes, she said gently. That was not okay. Did I do something wrong? No, she said firmly. You did nothing wrong. Another piece fell into place. The boy was not just scared. He felt blamed. That hurt almost as much as the hunger. I just wanted food, he said. And you deserved it, she replied. She could hear a faint sound now. A door opening somewhere far away. Do you hear that? She asked. Yes, he whispered. I hear something. Stay very quiet, she said. I'm still here. The sound stopped. Nothing now, he said. Her skin prickled. She knew she could not wait any longer. Every answer she had gathered pointed to one truth. Something was terribly wrong in that house. And the only reason anyone knew was because a hungry, scared child had found the courage to make a phone call. The grandmother did not hang up the phone. Not for a second. She held it close, listening to every breath, every tiny sound coming from the other end. The boy was still there. Still alive. Still talking. That was what mattered most right now. I'm here, she said softly. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still sitting, the boy whispered. Good, she replied. Stay right there. Don't stand up unless I tell you to, okay? Okay. Sit with your back against the wall if you can, she continued. That way you won't trip over anything. She heard him shuffle a little. The sound was slow, careful. I'm against the wall, he said. Perfect, she said. Put the phone close to your ear and keep your voice very quiet. I am, he whispered. Her chest felt tight, but she kept her voice calm and warm, like she was right beside him instead of miles away. That room is just a room, she said. It can't hurt you. You are safe where you're sitting. I don't like the dark, he said. I know, she replied. A lot of grown-ups don't like it either. She moved quickly but quietly through her house, turning on lights, grabbing her keys, pacing in small circles as if movement alone could speed time up. I want you to listen carefully, she said. If you hear anyone coming near the door, don't say anything. Just stay still. Even if I'm scared, he asked. Even then, she said gently. I'll still be here on the phone. There was a pause. Okay, he whispered. She put the phone on speaker and picked up her second phone. Her fingers shook as she dialed emergency services again, this time staying on the line. She explained everything she had learned. The locked door. The hunger. The mother who would not wake. The quiet house. Her words came out fast but clear. She did not let herself cry. Not yet. As she spoke to the operator, she kept her eyes on the first phone, listening for the boy's voice. I'm still here, she said into it between sentences. I hear you, he whispered back. That simple response kept her steady. The operator asked questions. Addresses. Descriptions. Timelines. The grandmother answered all of them while her mind raced ahead, imagining everything that could go wrong. Why hadn't she called earlier today? Why hadn't she checked in when the house felt quiet? Why did she assume everything was fine just because no one said it wasn't? Guilt pressed down on her chest like a heavy weight. She pushed it aside. There would be time for guilt later. Right now, she needed to stay sharp. "Sweetheart," she said softly into the first phone, "I need you to keep talking to me." "What should I say?" he asked. "Tell me about something you like," she replied. "Anything at all." "I like drawing," he said. "What do you like to draw?" "Animals," he whispered. "Big ones." She smiled despite everything. "That sounds wonderful." "I draw them strong," he said, "so they don't get hurt." Her eyes burned, but she kept her voice steady. "That's very smart." She listened as he described shapes and sizes, his voice soft but focused. Every word was proof that he was still okay. The operator told her help was on the way. "Please hurry," the grandmother said, her calm finally cracking just a little. "He's just a child." "We're moving as fast as we can," the operator replied. She nodded, even though the operator could not see her. "Grandma," the boy whispered. "Yes." "Are they coming?" "Yes," she said immediately. "They're coming right now." "How long?" "Very soon," she replied. "You just need to stay still and quiet a little longer." "I can do that," he said. "I know you can." She glanced at the clock. Each second felt louder than the last. She imagined the distance between the emergency team and that dark house shrinking inch by inch. Her thoughts drifted back again, uninvited. She remembered times she meant to call but got busy. Days when she told herself she would check in later. Nights when she assumed silence meant peace. Now silence meant danger. "I should have known," she whispered to herself. "What did you say?" the boy asked. "Nothing," she replied quickly. Just thinking out loud. She would not let her regret reach him. "Listen," she said gently. "If you feel scared, put one hand on your chest. Feel your heart beating." "Okay," he said. "That means you're strong," she continued. "Your body is working hard to protect you." "I can feel it," he said. "Good," she replied. "That's a good thing." A noise crackled through the phone. "I heard something," the boy whispered. Her heart jumped. "Where did it come from?" "Outside the room," he said. "Okay," she said calmly. "Don't move. Don't speak." She held her breath, listening. Seconds passed. "Nothing now," he whispered. "That's okay," she said. "You did exactly right." She tightened her grip on both phones. Every second lost felt like a risk she could not afford. "What if they don't come in time?" her mind whispered. She pushed the thought away. "They will," she said aloud, more to herself than anyone else. The operator stayed on the line, updating her, asking her to keep the boy calm. "I'm doing everything I can," the grandmother said. "And it's helping," the operator replied. She went back to the boy. "You're not alone," she said. "I'm right here. And other people are coming to help." "I'm trying not to cry," he whispered. "It's okay if you do," she replied. "But you're being very brave." "I don't want to make noise," he said. "I know," she said. "You're doing a good job." Her fear did not leave her. It sat heavy in her chest, counting every second that passed. She knew one truth very clearly now. Every moment mattered. And until help arrived, her voice was the only thing standing between a frightened child and something far worse. The grandmother stayed exactly where she was, phone pressed to her ear, eyes fixed on nothing and everything at the same time. She had already been told that police and emergency responders were on their way. She repeated the words silently in her head like a promise she could not afford to break. On the other end of the line, the boy was still there. His breathing had slowed, but it was uneven now, like each breath took more effort than the last. "I'm here," she said softly. "Can you hear me?" Yes, he whispered. That's good, she replied. You're doing great. He didn't answer right away. She heard a faint sniffle, then a small sigh. I'm really tired, he said. I know you are, she replied gently. You've been very strong for a long time tonight. My stomach hurts, he added. Her heart clenched. Hunger was no longer just hunger. It was weakness now. Exhaustion. I wish I could bring you something warm to eat, she said softly. As soon as help gets there, they'll take care of that. How much longer? He asked. Not long, she said, even though time felt stretched thin and cruel. They're already on the way. The words felt heavy, but she meant them. She would keep saying them as many times as he needed to hear them. I'm scared, he whispered. I know, she replied. Tell me what you're scared of. There was a pause. I'm scared he'll come back, the boy said. Her grip tightened on the phone. You haven't heard him, right? No, he said. But he might. That makes sense, she said calmly. Anyone would feel scared after that. She kept her voice steady, even as her thoughts raced. If you hear anything, she continued, you stay quiet and still, just like before. You don't need to answer anyone but me. Okay, he said. She imagined him curled up on the floor, eyes heavy, body small against the wall. The idea that minutes were passing like hours made her chest ache. I don't like this room, he said softly. I know you don't, she replied. But it's only for a little while longer. He yawned, a long, tired sound that made her worry. Try to keep your eyes open, she said gently. Can you do that for me? I'll try, he whispered. Good, she said. Talk to me when it feels hard. She listened carefully, counting his breaths again, making sure he stayed awake. Outside her own window, the night looked calm. Too calm. Cars passed now and then, unaware of the quiet emergency unfolding miles away. Grandma. Yes. Will my mom be okay? The question came quietly, without tears. That scared her more than crying would have. She's going to get help, the grandmother said carefully. That's what matters right now. But she won't wake up, he said. I know, she replied. Sometimes people need help to wake up. That's why the responders are coming. He was quiet again. I tried, he said after a moment. I really tried. I know you did, she replied immediately. You did everything right. The minutes crawled by. She checked the time again and again, each glance making her feel helpless. They should be there by now, she whispered to herself. What did you say? The boy asked. Nothing you need to worry about, she replied quickly. I'm just watching the clock. I don't like the clock, he said. She gave a soft, sad smile. Neither do I. A faint sound came through the phone. A creak. Then silence. I heard something, the boy whispered. Her heart jumped. Where? Near the door, he said. Okay, she said calmly. Stay still. Don't speak. She held her breath, listening hard. Seconds passed. I don't hear it anymore, he whispered. That's okay, she said. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. Her hands trembled now, but she did not let it reach her voice. Help is very close, she said. I promise. I'm so tired, he said. I know, she replied. Can you tell me what color the wall is? I think it's white, he said. Good, she said. Keep looking at it. Tell me if you see anything else. There's a box, he said slowly. And another one. Okay, she replied. You're doing great. He yawned again. Stay with me, she said softly. Just a little longer. I'm trying, he whispered. She felt tears slip down her face now, silent and hot. She wiped them away quickly. You're not alone, she said. I'm right here. I know, he replied. Your voice helps. That nearly broke her. She pictured the police car pulling up, the front door opening, light filling the dark house. She held on to that image like a lifeline. "Do you hear any sirens?" she asked gently. "No," he said. "Okay," she replied. "That's all right. They'll come quietly." Another minute passed. Then another. The waiting felt endless. "Grandma." "Yes." "Am I safe?" She answered without hesitation. "Yes. You are safe. Help is coming for you." He breathed out slowly. "I believe you," he said. She closed her eyes and whispered a silent plea that the universe would not make a liar out of her. Then, faint but clear, a new sound reached the phone. "I hear something different," the boy whispered. "What does it sound like?" she asked, her heart racing. "Like outside," he said. "Like doors." Her breath caught. "Stay where you are," she said calmly. "Don't move." The sound grew louder. Voices, distant but firm. "I hear voices," he whispered. "That's okay," she said, fighting the urge to cry out in relief. "Those are the helpers." "Really?" "Yes," she said. "They're there for you." The minutes of waiting suddenly collapsed into one long, shaking breath. "I think they're in the house," he said. Her knees nearly gave out. "You did it," she whispered. "You stayed strong." The tension that had stretched her nerves tight finally began to loosen, though fear still lingered. She stayed on the line, listening, until she heard a calm adult voice speaking to the boy, telling him everything would be okay. Only then did she allow herself to breathe. The waiting was almost over. The voices grew clearer on the other end of the phone. The grandmother stayed frozen in place, barely breathing as she listened. She could hear firm adult voices now, calm but serious, speaking somewhere close to the boy. The sound of footsteps echoed faintly, then stopped. "It's okay," a voice said near him. "We're here to help." The boy whispered into the phone, his voice shaking with relief. "Grandma, they're here." "I know," she said softly. "You did so well. I'm so proud of you." She heard the scrape of a lock, metal turning, followed by the slow creak of a door opening. Light spilled into the room for the first time in hours. The boy gasped. One of the responders knelt in front of him right away. They spoke gently, asking his name, telling him he was safe now. He didn't answer at first. His body was stiff, his eyes wide from fear and exhaustion. Another responder wrapped a blanket around his shoulders. He clutched it tightly, like he was afraid it might disappear. "He's very cold," someone said. "He's been without food all day," another voice replied. The grandmother pressed her hand to her mouth, tears finally spilling free. She listened as they helped him stand. His legs trembled, and he leaned into the adult beside him. "It's okay," the responder said again. "We've got you." The phone shifted as someone gently took it from his hand. "Ma'am," a calm voice said into the line. "This is emergency services. Your grandson is safe." Her knees buckled, and she sat down hard on the chair behind her. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you so much." "He's weak and shaken," the voice continued, "but he's conscious and responsive. We're going to take care of him." She nodded again and again, even though they could not see her. "What about his mother?" she asked, her voice barely steady. There was a pause. "We found her on the couch," the responder said carefully. "She's unconscious but breathing. It appears to be related to substance use." The words landed heavy and final. Her worst fear had been true. "She hasn't woken up yet?" the grandmother asked. "No," the responder replied. "But she's alive. She'll be transported for medical care immediately." The grandmother closed her eyes, relief and sorrow crashing into each other at once. "And the man?" she asked. Another pause. "He's not here," the responder said. "We're searching for him now." Her stomach twisted. Gone. Just like that. She thought of the locked door. The hunger. The silence. and the man who chose to disappear instead of face what he had done. They found him locked in a room, the responder continued. That should never happen to a child. No, she said softly. It never should. In the background, she heard the boy again, his voice small but clearer now. Someone was offering him water. Someone else was asking if he could tell them when he last ate. He keeps asking for you, the responder said gently. Please tell him I'm still here, she said quickly. Tell him I'm coming. I will, the responder replied. The call ended soon after, but the sounds stayed with her. The opening door. The calm voices. The truth finally spoken out loud. She sat there for a long moment, phone resting in her lap, staring at the floor. Her hands were still shaking. Everything she had feared during those endless minutes on the phone had been real. The child had been locked away. The house had gone dark for a reason. And the silence had been hiding something dangerous. She thought of how close it had come to being worse. One more hour. One less phone call. One moment of hesitation. Instead, a frightened, hungry child had chosen to reach out. And because of that, the truth had been discovered. The grandmother stood slowly, wiping her face. She grabbed her coat and keys, her movements steady now, filled with purpose. Whatever came next, she would face it. The worst fear had already been confirmed. But the child was alive. And that changed everything. The hospital lights were too bright. The grandmother noticed it the moment she stepped inside. The sharp white glow felt nothing like comfort, yet she welcomed it. Bright meant awake. Bright meant help. Bright meant her grandson was not alone anymore. She walked quickly down the hallway, guided by a nurse who spoke in a calm, steady voice. Every step felt heavy, like her body was still carrying the fear from the long night before. He's stable, the nurse said gently. But he's very tired. The grandmother nodded, afraid her voice would break if she tried to speak. When she reached the room, she stopped just outside the door. For a moment, she couldn't go in. She could see him through the small window. He lay on the bed, wrapped in a thin hospital blanket that looked far too big for his small body. A band was wrapped around his wrist. Another around his finger. Tubes and wires were placed carefully, quietly monitoring him. He looked so small. Smaller than she remembered. She pressed a hand to her mouth and took a deep breath before stepping inside. His eyes opened when he heard her footsteps. "Grandma," he whispered. She crossed the room in seconds and took his hand carefully, as if she was afraid he might break. "I'm here," she said softly. "I'm right here." His fingers tightened weakly around hers. "I thought you were gone," he said. "Never," she replied. "Not ever." She sat beside him, brushing his hair gently with her fingers. It felt dry. Too dry. His skin felt warm, but fragile. A doctor entered the room quietly and waited until the boy closed his eyes again. "We've finished the initial evaluation," the doctor said in a low voice. "He's malnourished and dehydrated." The words hit her like a punch. "How bad?" she asked. "Enough that it didn't happen overnight," the doctor replied carefully. "This has been going on for some time." Her heart sank. "And emotionally?" she asked. The doctor sighed softly. "He's showing signs of significant emotional distress. Fear responses. Exhaustion." He stayed alert longer than most adults would in that situation. The grandmother swallowed hard. "He was scared to make noise," she said quietly. "He thought someone would come back." The doctor nodded. "That tells us a lot." A nurse entered with a small cup of water and helped the boy take tiny sips. He drank slowly, like he didn't trust that it would last. "It's okay," the nurse said gently. "You can have more later." He nodded but didn't speak. The grandmother looked away, tears burning her eyes. Later, a social worker arrived. Her voice was kind, but her questions were serious. "We need to begin an investigation," she said. "This is standard procedure." "I understand," the grandmother replied. Please do whatever you need to do. They talked quietly outside the room. Timelines. Living conditions. Missed warning signs. How long do you believe the neglect has been happening? The social worker asked. The grandmother shook her head slowly. Longer than I want to admit. The truth felt sharp. There were moments she remembered now. Times he ate too fast. Times he said he wasn't hungry when food was offered. Times he stayed quiet when adults spoke. Signs she wished she had understood sooner. Child Protective Services began their work immediately. The house would be investigated. The adults involved questioned. Decisions would be made that would change lives. None of it felt real yet. When she returned to the room, the boy was awake again. Are they mad at me? He asked softly. No, she said quickly. They're here to help you. Will I have to go back? He asked. Her chest tightened. No, she said gently. You won't go back there. He closed his eyes, relief washing over his face. Can I stay with you? He whispered. She leaned close, pressing her forehead lightly against his. Yes, she said. As long as you need. For the first time since the phone call, she allowed herself to cry. Silent tears fell onto the edge of the blanket as she held his hand. The reality was finally clear. This was not one bad night. This was long-term neglect. And now that it had been seen, it could never be unseen. But he was safe. And that would be the beginning of everything that came next. The decision did not come all at once. It settled slowly in the grandmother's chest, heavy and unavoidable, like something she had always known but hoped she would never have to say out loud. She sat in a quiet room near the hospital ward, hands folded in her lap, staring at the floor while a social worker spoke across from her. The words were careful, practiced, but their meaning was clear. Temporary placement. Safety plan. Emergency custody. Each phrase carried weight. If you're willing, the social worker said gently, we can begin the process right now. The grandmother nodded. Her throat felt tight, but her mind was steady. Yes, she said. I'm willing. Saying it made everything real. This was no longer about helping for a few days. This was about stepping in fully. About choosing protection over comfort. About accepting that love alone had not been enough before. When she returned to the room, the boy was awake, sitting up slightly with pillows behind his back. A small tray sat untouched beside him. You didn't eat, she said softly. I wasn't sure if I was allowed, he replied. Her heart cracked a little more. You're always allowed to eat, she said. Always. She helped him take a few careful bites, praising him quietly, letting him go at his own pace. Later, when the room was calm again, he spoke. Grandma. Yes. This wasn't the first time, he said. Her breath caught. What do you mean? She asked gently. There were other nights, he whispered. When it got dark and quiet. She closed her eyes for a moment, bracing herself. Did you get locked in before? She asked. He nodded. And did you feel scared like you did last night? Yes, he said. Sometimes worse. The words hurt more than anything she had heard so far. I thought it was normal, he added. I thought I was just bad. She leaned forward, taking his face gently in her hands. You were never bad, she said firmly. Not once. Tears filled his eyes, but he didn't look away. I didn't want to tell, he said. I didn't want anyone to get mad. She nodded slowly. I know. As he spoke, pieces fell into place. The quiet phone calls that never came. The rushed meals when she visited. The way he flinched at raised voices. The signs had been there. She had missed them. That truth hurt deeply, but she did not run from it. I promise you something, she said softly. This will never happen again. He studied her face carefully, like he was testing whether the promise was real. Really? He asked. Really, she said. I will protect you. The legal steps moved quickly after that. Papers were brought in. Forms were explained. Temporary orders were signed. Emergency custody. It sounded cold and official, but to her, it meant safety. The boy would not return to that house. Not tonight. Not ever. Later, alone in the hallway, the grandmother leaned against the wall and let herself feel everything she had been holding back. The guilt. The anger. The grief for the time already lost. She remembered moments she brushed off. When he said he wasn't hungry. When he didn't want to sleep alone. When his eyes looked older than they should have. She promised herself she would never ignore her instincts again. Love, she realized, was not just warmth and kindness. Sometimes, love had to become action. Sometimes, it had to become resolve. When she returned to the room, the boy was half asleep. "Grandma," he murmured. "I'm here," she said. "You're not leaving?" "No," she replied. "I'm staying." He relaxed against the pillow, finally allowing sleep to take him. She watched him breathe, slow and steady now, and felt something shift inside her. This was the line. From this moment on, she would not just love him. She would protect him. No matter what it took. Weeks passed, slowly at first, then all at once. The house felt different now. The grandmother noticed it in the mornings, when the kitchen filled with quiet sounds that had not been there before. A chair scraping softly against the floor. A spoon tapping a bowl. Small footsteps moving from room to room without fear. The boy lived with her now. Not as a visitor. Not as a temporary plan. But as a child who belonged there. At first, everything was careful. He asked permission for things he never needed permission for. To eat. To drink water. To turn on a light. To sit on the couch. She answered the same way every time. Yes. Of course. Any time. Slowly, he began to believe her. Meals became part of a routine. Breakfast every morning. Lunch packed neatly. Dinner at the table, warm and steady. At first, he ate fast, like the food might disappear if he slowed down. She didn't rush him or comment. She just made sure there was always more. Over time, his pace changed. His shoulders relaxed. He started to leave food on his plate, something she noticed with quiet relief. Sleep came easier too. The first nights were hard. He woke often, unsure where he was, frightened by shadows that no longer meant danger. She stayed close, sitting beside his bed, speaking softly until his breathing slowed. Eventually, the nights grew calmer. He slept longer, deeper. Sometimes he even laughed in his dreams. That was when she knew healing had begun. Therapy became part of their weeks. The room was small and warm, filled with gentle voices and simple questions. At first, he didn't say much. He played quietly, listening more than speaking. No one pushed him. Trust takes time. Little by little, he opened up. He talked about the dark rooms, the quiet nights, the fear of making noise. He learned new words for old feelings. Fear, hunger, safety. The grandmother listened when the therapist spoke, learning alongside him. She learned how to notice signs she once missed. How to respond without panic. How to be steady when memories surfaced. Some days were harder than others. There were moments when loud sounds made him flinch. Moments when silence still felt heavy. Moments when he asked the same question again and again. "Are you really here?" Her answer never changed. "Yes, I'm here." Outside the house, life continued. Papers were filed. Decisions were made. The unsafe environment was no longer part of his world. Inside the house, something new was growing. Normal days. Ordinary moments. One afternoon, she caught him smiling at the kitchen table, crumbs on his face, humming softly to himself. The sound stopped her in her tracks. She hadn't realized how long it had been since she'd heard that sound. Another day, he ran toward her without thinking, wrapping his arms around her waist. The hug was quick, instinctive, unguarded. She held him gently, careful not to overwhelm him, and felt her heart steady in a way it hadn't in weeks. He was healing. And so was she. Sometimes, late at night, she thought about the phone call. The ring that cut through the dark. The whispering voice. The hunger and fear carried through a thin line of sound. That call had changed everything. It had broken open a truth she could no longer ignore. It had forced her to act. It had turned love into protection. She knew now that hope was not loud or dramatic. Hope was quiet. Hope was a child sleeping peacefully in the next room. Hope was a light left on because someone wanted it that way. Hope was a promise kept. One evening, as they sat together watching a cartoon, he leaned against her side. "Grandma." "Yes. I'm not scared here," he said. Her eyes filled, but her voice stayed calm. "I know," she replied. He smiled and turned back to the screen. The story did not end with forgetting. It ended with safety. With healing. With a future built carefully, day by day. The call would always be part of their lives. But it was no longer the end. It was the beginning.